Hello everybody, Mr. Natural here. Well, we're going to start reading in a key. This time I put a clef which says that this line is the letter name G. We don't care because we don't use it. We have the key signatures here which tell us where the number 1 is. And the only thing we care about, these 3 flats, is the rightmost flat. This flat is always going to be the number 4. So that tells us where the number 4 is. Now actually that's all I need to get started because I can enumerate starting from any position. But let's go find out where the number 1 is, and first let's see what happened as I was talking about in the last video with the 1. The 1 going from a line to a space to a line to a space as it goes across the staff. First, if this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, and 1 winds up being that bottom line. So let me do this. I'm going to take my red marker and just go so we know where that reference is, just like we did in the interval study. Now we know that that is the number 1. Right there, the number 1. Now let's go and take that little circle that I demonstrated in the last video, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, and rotate it backwards, going from 1. The next line down would be 6, the next line would be 4, the next line would be 2, the next line would be 7, 5. If we rotate that number pattern backwards, we'll be going down the lines. So if this line here is the number 1, then this line is 6, this line here is 4, and this line is 2, which places the number 1 right down there. So let me draw this in green. Here's our number 1. That means that this entire space, 3 ledger lines below, that whole space there is the number 1. 3, 5, 7, 1. 3, 5, 7, and then right there is the next one. So that's where 1 would be. And then, if that's 1, 3, 5, 7, 2. So the next one is right up here. This line. So you can see we now have 4 number 1s. This one is on a line. The next one is here on a space. The next line is on a line. And the next number 1 is on a space. So 7 note names, switch. Then 7 note names, switch. 7 note names, and switch. So now that I've marked where 1 is at, 1 is at, 1 is at, 1 is at, let's use that little pattern I was talking about, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, to mark all of the lines. If this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, and counting, going backwards, 1, 6, 4, 2, 7, 5, 3, 1, 6, 4, 2. And there you can see that pattern, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, or backwards, 1, 6, 4, 2, 7, 5, 3, 1, 6, 4, 2, 7, 5, 3, 1, is every line. Now, I could mark the spaces, and you'll find that all the spaces are the exact same thing. But now, we're ready to read by interval in the key of E flat. For instance, if I were to put a note right here, we know that note is a 3. If I put a note here, from here to here, it's a 2nd. If I put a note here, from here up to there, is a 6th. We can also look at the inversion of something. from here down to there is a third, and the third is an inversion of a 6. If I go from here down to there, which is a fifth, the inversion of a fifth is a fourth, and that gives me that number of that line there. So lo and behold, the inversions of the interval that we're seeing below 1 become the number name. So, and the same is happening actually as we go above. If I look from here upwards, or from here downwards, from 1 down here is a third, so that's a 6. From this one down, a fifth is a 4. From here down to there, a seventh is the number 2, etc., etc. So we can use the inversions in our minds. We don't need it. Now that I have numbered this, we can put notes anywhere we want to on the staff. I have a note here, a note there, a note there, a note here, a note here, a note here. It's very easy now to use this reference and think through this pattern up. From here to here is a third, a second, that's a fifth, that's a sixth, that's a fourth, that's a second, and that's a 1. So I can then label this music 3, 2, 5, 6, 4, 2, 1. And by putting a simple number in front of each note, I can enumerate the music. Now the interesting thing is I can go and play this in a key other than E flat. So for you people out there who read by ABC, the problem is every time you try to read this in the key of E flat on the piano, let's say, your eyeball is trained to go think of it in terms of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you want to break that pattern, simply play this in any other key. So I think of that as a third, and I'd start on the third step of, say, the D scale. So D, E, F sharp. So I would start playing from F sharp. If I'm in the key of C, I would start playing from E. And this would be E, D, G, A. So I could transpose into the other key instantly by using the number codes. So always, always read the music in one key, play it in another key. You can play it in the key it's in with your ABCs to get the melody, and then play it in another key, and it should sound exactly the same to confirm that you were right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take from the Real Book. This is called the Real Book. It's published by Hal Leonard, and they put out, I think, 4 of these books. This one happens to be the vocal book, which is the 5th one, but they put out these books that have all the jazz, what used to be called the jazz standards in them. And we're going to use the Hal Leonard Real Book here. I take my book, and you'll see that it's color-coded or tabbed. So in the key of here, everything that's in the green are pieces that are in the key of C. Everything here that is tagged yellow are pieces that are in the key of G. And here, everything that is tagged purple is in E flat. So what I'm going to do is just go through a bunch, maybe 4 or 5 of these songs that are in E flat, and we're just going to go through and I'm just going to yell out the numbers. And then what we'll do is, in a following video, we'll actually play them on the piano by number in a completely different key to confirm that it sounds the same. So, E flat is using this bottom line, seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, and then octave or back to 1. Then 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, and back to 1. So a lot of these pieces are going to start with a low 5. So we're going to see down here a note, and then it'll go to 1, then 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, something like that. Some will go as high as 6, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1. So this is a high 1. And anything over that, of course, all the odd numbers will be on spaces. Hang in there with me. I know it seems just a little bit complex, but believe me, it's not as complex as memorizing ABCs and then memorizing 4 sharps and 6 sharps and 5 flats and 7 flats.